Thank you so much for stopping in. Before I read the transmission I have for you today, I just wanted to comment on have you noticed that um, the the I'm sure you have the energy builds and builds and builds, and then it calms down, and then it builds and builds and builds again, and then it calms down, and it almost seems like nothing's happening because we feel that elevation in the tension energy, and then it goes away, and it's almost as though it never happened. I mean, I find this very unusual. It's been happening for a long time. I find it very unusual, and I wanted to comment on that because it just builds up and builds up and builds up, and everybody thinks something's going to happen, and we kind of think, well, it should happen because of all the really serious elevation of the tension, and then it goes away. And anyway, I just wanted to comment on that because what I really know from the information I've been receiving, and that we've been receiving for quite a while, but right now it just seems like it's time to say we are in a very transformative time. We are in a very, very transformative time. Things are really changing. And in the past, where we thought we really didn't see any of the changes, we really couldn't tell that something was happening. We were told that something's happening, but we really couldn't tell that something's happening. I think we're starting to see things happening. Depends on which sector you look at. But you can really see those changes. I mean, because we're being told about those changes. We're seeing the changes. We're not just hearing and being told by universal source that things are changing, but we're seeing it. We're seeing some evidence of that. And I think that's why over the past, whatever it is, has been over the past year, we have been told that they've been constantly reminding us about our foundation. Know where you are, know what you believe, know what you will sacrifice, know where you might compromise or where you will never compromise. Those are really important things. And, in the beginning, when they were started telling us that, we kind of thought, well, but because it's such a trend, we are truly in a transformation of some kind, and we need to know. So I think that's why they've been telling us, or have been reminding us about the foundation. Plus, they're telling us about the new observers now, the people who are starting to come into realization, seeing these different things. We're seeing things. So we're also new observers, but we're just a little bit ahead of some of the others, and some people are way ahead of us. So, or, me, you. And the other thing that I was kind of wanted to make this comment on before I read this, the April 8th is coming, and we are kind of seeing that there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear. I see a lot of fear headlines. When I look at anything, I see headlines. I don't go into reading or, watching a lot of different things, but there's a lot of fear surrounding April 8th. So I think we have to be prepared for April 8th, the eclipse of April 8th. But I think because we've been told about the crumbling of the sectors, I think there's going to be a lot of things that falter, and we're going to see a lot of things that enlighten, whatever that means. But in each sector, it's going to be different. So I think we're going to see some faltering, the things that aren't needed, and I think we're going to see some good things happen. And it's going to be very, very, not emotional. I was going to say emotional, but it's going to be very, very turbulent, I think, because those kind of things are in anybody's life, let alone galactically, things are happening, and we're actually feeling the impact and the push and pulls of of the energy of the planets and of our Earth and of the moon and those kind of things. So we really are in a big transition. And we've been told it's the early part of the new era. So we have a long way to go. So we just have to be patient. But we also have to remember that we are still observing new things. There are some people that have never seen this, never seen what we've been kind of going through for years as new observers. And then we also have to have our foundation. So it is a very transformative time, and we have to be patient through that and know where our foundation is. That's what I want to say before this. Now, this is a little bit long, so anyway, this is the transmission I have for you today. Have you ever listened to water in a pot that you intend to boil? Listen. Initially, the water is stable and adjusting to the heat. Water has no sound when it's in the pot. As the water moves up in temperature, there is a sound that emanates, a building up of energy. The sound gets louder, more dramatic, a violent agitation. It gets into a violent agitation of building heat energy. Then, suddenly, it erupts into bubbles that release the built-up energy of heat into the open space of the room. It is energy. It is unseen, yet you hear it. We use analogy. The water bubbles, frolics around in your pot and becomes a boiling pot of water from what once was considered stable to a new stage of existence. That existence of both physical water and unseen steam transforms its reality and all energy. And it's all energy. It is a change. It is not catastrophic. We give you this visual to show you what type of energy you are the type of energy you're transiting through. What you're transiting through. You are in the early stages of a transition of ages. You are transitioning from a seemingly stable energy into the early stage of water boiling. You sense a change, but you cannot identify what you are seeing, except that you feel a change. We use analogy. We prepare you with our transmissions to the coming build-up of energy that eventually must be released to allow for the new energy, that of the boiling, that of the new era. It is unexpected. It is turbulent. It is dramatic. There will be a time of building up to boiling. We ask you to focus on the idea of the pre-boil buildup. This is what you will experience. The pre-boil is the instability of change that you will begin to experience for the change that is going your way. It is change. Change is difficult to deal with. Metaphorically, the boiling represents the entrance stages of a new age. It is not intended to be violent. It is not intended to be volatile, but it is change. We ask you to see our example, our water boiling analogy, as the new stage you are entering, the new era that you are entering, the time between leaving the old dominance era energy and entering the new harmonious era is representative of the water building up before the release and then resulting in the new state the buildup created. Relax. Let the transition happen. You are expanding. That really, that is really neat. You know, it's neat that it's like they're making the comparison of water, no sound, no nothing. It's there. It seems to be stable. And then the changes start to happen, and gradually the changes start to happen. It starts to make some sound. It starts to make noise and starts to kind of get agitated. And then it becomes another thing. So it goes from physical water to air. Yeah, they even said it bubbles, it frolics, around in your pot. So it moves around, it keeps going around, and then it's boiling, and now we've transitioned. And I can see how being in the boiling water, that kind of eruption, if we just have to imagine what it might be like, what that means to us physically, what it means to us in our transition that's happening right now. So it's just, it's neat. So thank you so much. That's it. Thank you so much for stopping in. Please subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos, and stay tuned because there is a lot more to come.